we're all fish scenes in the sea at one time, then we evolved to be on land, so.
Hey, I'm John, and I went on a road trip to find answers to some of life's biggest questions. Join me on the road trip to truth.
Truth, it doesn't exist, in my opinion.
Doesn't matter what somebody else thinks.
No certainty, everything is subjective.
The human body. It's so amazing how it's designed and put together. But have you ever wondered how all the organs and muscles and bones and ligaments function together so well?
Do you think the human body looks like it was randomly assembled, or do you think it looked like it was intentionally designed?
It would make sense if it was intentionally designed, because what little I know about anatomy and stuff like that, literally everything has a purpose, every part of your body has a purpose.
I would say there's a lot of randomness in it, and there's a lot of things that look kind of random.
There's no way I can think it's random chance. Definitely design.
If you believe in evolution and stuff like that, it might not be very intricately designed.
I have no clue. I'm a finance major.
Was the machine that we know of as the human body just the product of random chance over millions of years? Or is it the product of a divine mind that designed everything? A lot of people think we're the products of slow random chance, a process called Darwinian evolution.
Could you explain evolution in one sentence?
Genetic change in populations that persist over time.
Over time, we change and develop to adapt to challenges.
Survival of the fittest.
But does that make sense of the order we see in the human body? Can random changes really account for such an intricately designed machine? Dr. Jason Lyle, astrophysicist and avid Star Trek fan. Dr. Lyle has a PhD in astrophysics from the University of Colorado. He's well acquainted with theories on the origin of life.
Can we just start off by saying, what is a good definition of evolution?
Well, the word just means change, and we all agree things change, so there's no doubt there. But usually when they're talking in the sense of biology, they're usually referring to Darwinian or neo-Darwinian evolution, which is the idea that all forms of life on Earth have a common ancestor that they've descended from, something like a bacterium that over millions of years of mutations and natural selection eventually became everything else. Right. So in that view, you are related to broccoli. That's your distant cousin.
From the beginning of time, there was the one cell that survived all the Earth being a hot, fiery mass. And then from that, it came to bacteria, plants, animals, and then from that, us.
Do you think that there's any evidence for the large-scale evolution that people claim to believe in?
First of all, we don't find in the fossil record, we don't find evidence of one basic kind becoming another. We certainly find variation within a kind. There's different varieties of elephants, some of which are now extinct. We believe mammoths are part of the elephant kind. They're genuinely related to modern elephants, but that particular variety's gone extinct. And you find different varieties of horse, and the way their feet are a little bit different, the number of ribs are a little bit different, and so on, but they're still horses.
Yeah.
So variation within a kind, we find that all throughout the fossil record. But we don't find evidence of a reptile becoming a bird, despite what they claim. It's not there.
That sounds like the missing link to me, right?
Yeah.
So why have evolutionists and scientists not found that missing link that they're looking for?
Yeah, and it's not just the missing link. They're all missing,
right.
Really.
Okay.
But you'd expect to find one basic kind becoming another. We don't find that. Think about invertebrates, for example. Invertebrates have the hard parts on the outside, the soft parts on the inside. We're vertebrates. We have the hard bones inside and then the soft parts on the outside. That's a complete revolution in structure. Now, you'd think, well, that would take millions of years to turn one kind into a completely different other kind, where all the in-between kinds, where the hard parts are starting to move to the outside. You don't find that in the fossil record. It's not there. You find billions upon billions of invertebrates throughout the fossil record. You find vertebrates, but you don't find anything in between. They're just not there. Darwin was aware of that, and he said, well, we just haven't found that many fossils yet.
Sure.
And he expected that you'd find these transitional forms as time progressed, but we haven't.
We all kind of evolved from the same scene. I mean, we're all fish scenes in the sea at one time, then we evolved to be on land, so.
So where did you learn this stuff?
Science courses. can't really think of anything. Yeah, anything else?
2,000 years ago, the Bible addressed the issue of unbelief. The book of Romans says, "Wicked people suppress the truth by their wickedness. They know the truth about God because He has made it obvious to them. For ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see His invisible qualities, His eternal power and divine nature. So they have no excuse for not knowing God." 20th century philosopher Aldous Huxley pretty much said the exact same thing. For myself, as no doubt for most of my contemporaries, the philosophy of meaninglessness was essentially an instrument of liberation. The liberation we desired was from a certain system of morality. We objected to the morality because it interfered with our sexual freedom.
Most people assume that evolution is the only rational explanation, right? Do you think evolution is rational or irrational?
I don't believe it's rational. I don't believe that there are good reasons to believe it. People who believe in evolution, most of them haven't really thought it through. Most of the people that I interact with, they believe evolution because their teachers taught it to them. And their teachers, you ask them, they believe it because their teachers taught it to them. They don't have good independent reasons. And then if I ask them, well, what's your specific evidence? Sometimes they'll say, well, fossils. And I'll say, well, what fossils do you think prove evolution? And then they can't give me an answer. They believe it because other people believe it. And then the very few that are aware that there's really not good evidence for evolution, they believe it because the alternative is too horrible for them to accept, that God created. They just don't want to believe that.
Okay, so evolution is the most logical system, but that doesn't mean we should throw out the baby with the bathwater, does it? Next up on Road Trip to Truth, we take a deeper and darker look at the consequences of living in Darwin's world. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Next week we got more content coming at you, so make sure you subscribe.